Hello everybody! Welcome to this live streaming session on Monday morning here in the sunny and really hot Vancouver. I'm not sure how it's gonna be this live streaming because I haven't slept much this last night. And yesterday I went out for a hike. I was pretty tired. I don't know why I couldn't sleep well. So now I feel like really exhausted. And I don't know what's gonna happen in this live streaming. I'm gonna try to code something. I'm gonna try to show you something, and probably it's gonna be awful. Probably we're gonna go off the rail super quickly, but we'll see. Hopefully we're gonna have fun. Already a lot of people here. Hi everyone. Dominican Republic. Oh, hey, greetings. Hi, Milan, Federico, Ricardo, Cyber Illusion, Dependra, Manik, Nicola, everyone. Like, hey. Oh my God, you're so many. Oh my God. Slow down. It's all right. Okay, it's all right. Okay, let's get started immediately. First of all, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna code Sabrina Miso's website, and I'm gonna switch between different screens, and just to show you, hopefully you can read the code. I increased a lot the resolution of my Sublime text editor, and then I'm gonna start reading the chat, and I'm gonna answer a bunch of questions, because if I start reading the chat now, I'm never gonna start. So just let's get started. Let me switch here. Coding. Okay, can you guys read? This is readable for you? The functions, it's pretty readable. Yes, I hope so. Okay, let me extract. Say my name, Sander. Okay, I saw you. I said your name. Oh, from New York City as well. Oh, that's yeah, awesome, fantastic. Okay, let me. Papa chat. Okay, Papa chat. This is down. Oops, no. This, I need this up. I told you it was going to be messy, this live streaming, but hey, what can you do? Okay, so this is the current status of Sabrina Miso's website. If you notice here, I'm using the incognito mode. Sometimes I like to code in incognito mode because it doesn't retain any cache, it doesn't save anything in your local storage, so you know if you open a new tab in incognito mode, everything that you're looking at is completely fresh. You don't have anything cached before that could affect your new code, especially if you're doing front-end development. So incognito mode for me works really well. The only thing that I did in this website is just applying a little bit of fonts and a little bit of the standard grid, and everything else just styled a bit the footer, but everything else is just standard AWPS. What you get when you start using AWPS. Exactly, I'm using AWPS. It's gonna be really cool. He is. Okay, so what I was saying here. Okay, a couple of updates about AWPS that I just released. First, I released an update to the Gulp file to use browser sync. I don't know if you ever use browser sync, but it's a really cool implementation of Gulp that when you code something and you save, automatically compiles your file and refreshes your browser for you. So if we take a look at Sublime Text and we go inside the enqueue file, that you can access it inside the config setup enqueue.php. Here, if we scroll down inside the enqueue scripts method, you will notice that I'm checking if the environmental variable app-env that you define in your env file is set to development. Automatically, it's gonna enqueue the browser sync script that get your website URL at a port of 3000 and checks for the browser sync client. So let me show you what it means. If you don't do anything, if you just like using your website and you're coding and you open your console, you will have an error message. well, this error message, connection refused, browser sync client.js doesn't exist or something like that. This is totally normal because we're enqueuing a browser sync.js that actually doesn't exist because it's connected to the watch action of Gulp. So if we open our terminal and we say Gulp watch, automatically our Gulp is going to initialize and start watching. It's going to create some local host. If you see here, we have a local host with a port 3000, but I set it up in a way that it's going to proxy your website with the URL that you want to define. And now if I refresh the page, look, can you see top here? We have connected to browser sync. So now we don't have the error message anymore, and automatically every time we save a file or we do something, the browser is going to refresh for ourselves without us actually hitting Control R or F5, F4, whatever, just refreshing the browser. Let me give you a live example of what I mean. I'm going to shrink this right and left. So let's say, let me access the header.php. That is the easiest thing to see. Let's go here. If I wanna, let me close the sidebar. So here I have the blog name. If I want to remove the blog name, let's see what happens. I remove the blog name, I save it, boom, and it's refreshed automatically without me actually refreshing the browser. So I go back, save, refreshes automatically. And that works exactly the same also for styles, JavaScript, and everything. So if, for example, I access my assets folder, I go to scripts, I go in my app.js. Here you see every time it reloads, it calls the app initialize. If I want to change this from info to danger, or it was, no, error, I don't know, save, refreshes, updates the JavaScript, takes a bit of time, but reloads automatically. And now the message is error. If I go back to log, save, refreshes the JavaScript, and after a bit, it reloads the browser for me. So I don't have to anymore reload the browser. If you have two screens, you can have your text editor, code editor on a screen, your website on another screen, and save, and just check what happens. And the browser reloads for yourself. It's just like so handy, so good. You won't have any problem for that. I don't know. That's yes. That's a quick update of AWS. The other update that I did, it's related to the console. Sorry, not the console, to the grid. So if we access the -grid.scss file, you will notice that inside the row declaration, the row class, we have a bunch of extra classes like justify start, justify hand, and blah blah blah. And they have all these align items methods and all these flex item stuff. Like, what are these? Basically, I implemented new, pretty much all the things that you would need to use Flexbox. Right now, the website works with Flexbox, but hey. But of course, you have the ability to use the same structure of Bootstrap with the column. So you can have column XX, XS 4, 6, medium 6, and blah, blah, blah. If you want to completely use Flexbox, you can do it. And I'm going to show you how to do it. Let me put back this stuff. Code editor, go back to your place. That's perfect. Okay, so let's say that we want to access the homepage here. Let's do everything through our inspector, so it's going to be easier to see. So here we have these two grids, these two columns, column small 8 and small 4. Let's say that the small 8, we don't want to have anymore the 8 out of 4, 8 out of 12 columns. We want to have just a complete grid based on Flexbox. We can change the class to flex item to this one, and automatically it's going to shrink to the size of the content. And then we're going to have also this one, flex item. So now we have our grid that is not based anymore on the Bootstrap declaration, but it's 100% flex. And you can see the grid, or like the columns, don't extend 100%. We have this huge gap here. So now with the Flexbox declarations that I implemented, we can manage this grid and we can do whatever we want with this grid. So for example, if we want the grid to, or the columns to expand 100% of the size of the container, we can specify it by adding a class to the row that it's here, I think is justify between or justify center. Let's try everything. So let's say justify start. This one I think is not gonna do anything. Justify start. Yeah, it doesn't do anything because justify start basically attaches the columns all to the left. If we say justify end, boom, all the columns are to the right, attached to the right. That's perfect. Probably you cannot see in much because these columns are pretty big. If we say justify center, the columns are at the center, at exact center. And you can see here, when I shrink down and the content, it's bigger than the size of the column and the size of the container, automatically these two stack. If we don't want the columns to stack, we can use another class of flexbox that is called no wrap, and it's gonna apply a flex wrap of no wrap. That makes sense. So no wrap, boom, and we go down. This thing is not gonna, these columns are not gonna stack anymore. So we have control on that. Other super cool things, the worst thing about having a grid, if like, for example, I want this column here, this size to be bottom aligned. That would be a nightmare with regular grid. With Flexbox, it's super easy, and we have a class called align top, bottom, and middle that automatically is gonna align our column wherever we want. So I said I want those aligned to the bottom, just let align dash bottom. There you go. Now we have two columns that they have completely different height, but they're aligned wherever we want. And you know what is the most painful thing about CSS grids? Is aligning content to the middle and having the grids expanded 100%. With Flexbox, it's super easy. You can say align middle, or this is the class that I declare, and automatically the content, it doesn't matter how high is the content and what's the difference between 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns, whatever, is gonna be automatically aligned at the exact perfect middle of your height of the container. And that's so handy. Flexbox is so handy. So these are the two main implementation that I released of AWPS. The GitHub repository is updated, you can use it. All these classes are just a savior. Like you can align stretch is gonna automatically extend the size of your column to fill the entire size of your container. You have a bunch of other options. If you want to reverse the classes, for example, at one point you decide that, no, actually I want my sidebar to the left and the content to the right, you don't have to go inside your PHP file and change the location in every file. You just apply a container, you just apply a class to the row container called reverse, boom. Automatically you have, even if your HTML is still aligned in the same way, you have the order of your columns completely reversed automatically. And here I have a comment on the Sunset Pack. Okay, great, thank you. Cannot work on a scan. I'm gonna check that later. Sorry. This is so easier. It is so good. So take a look at Flexbox. If you're confused about Flexbox and you don't really know, just search for Flexbox tutorial, and there should be like a CSS. Yes, the website csstricks.com. It's so easy, and they did this amazing visual guide of Flexbox, and all the classes that are declared here are inside the AWPS grid. So you can use these as a reference and use the AWPS grid that it's set for you to use all these classes, just like such a time savior. And luckily, all the browsers, all the modern browsers pretty much support Flexbox now. Internet Explorer, it's kind of dead. If you have a client or someone else that uses Internet Explorer, you should slap them in the face. Don't do that, but just like don't, whatever. We don't want to optimize things for Internet Explorer, right? That would be a nightmare. So let's refresh this page. Let's leave the, no, let's close the inspector, it's fine. Okay, before I start coding, any questions for now? Hello everyone, hi to everyone who I didn't say hi before I was explaining these things. So you guys have any question before I start coding, or I can go? Slap, yes, let's slap. You should know that in Vancouver it's 1,000,000 degrees now, and because outside there's a kids playground, I have to close my window, otherwise all the kids shouting will like enter the microphone. And now I'm melting because also I have lights in my face, so if you see me slowly melting and just like dropping sweat halfway through, it's totally fine. Call for help, send help. I'm here. I have my water. I'm just sweating so much. Okay. Sander Jangra asks if there's any browser compatibility issue. Recently, no. But if you have doubts, always type in Google, can I use? If you type can I use, you're gonna access this website called Can I Use? Can I use flexbox? Automatically is gonna fill for you the list of compatibility. If it's green, it's completely fine. So as you can see, only Internet Explorer 11 is partial support, but who cares about Internet Explorer, right? And you have the list of known issues, you have the list of all the resources to confirm or extend some fixes, but pretty much Flexbox, it's supported all the way through all the modern browsers, so that's amazing. You try to use Laravel build templates in WordPress? Marcin, you're drinking beer, Andres. Can you send some beer, please? I need that. Okay, Marcin, no, I'm not using any template in WordPress because it's kind of silly using a template engine, in my opinion, in WordPress. Like, WordPress works with raw PHP. You can, if you want, implement template engine, but implementing a template engine, it means like having duplicated files for your scripts. And I used Twig in the past, and at the end of a really big project, I had like the double of the files, and it was like getting really convoluted to implement, especially because WordPress doesn't use controller. Laravel use controllers that inject data inside your template. Without controllers, if you use a template engine, you have to create scripts to inject PHP data variables inside your template, and it's just like so convoluted. It's not worth it. Like, WordPress works perfectly with standard regular PHP, so you should keep going with that. If you feel comfortable with Blade, you should definitely use it, but it's not for me, I don't think. Now the editor is Sublime Text. I'm using Sublime Text. This is Sublime Text. About Sublime Text. I'm on a dev channel, the bid 3131. That it's amazing. They just implemented this nice graphic for the top bar, so it's amazing. Flexbox killed me once. I knew that the client wants also EN9. Okay, if the client wants Internet Explorer 9, you should kick the client. It's like, wow, okay. Internet Explorer 9 is like 2% of the usage. It's just, oh my god, it's so bad. Okay, in that case, you can use Modernizer. Modernizer is an extension that converts all your scripts to make it compatible with Internet Explorer or like old browser. But EN9 has like, oh, sorry, IE9, Internet Explorer it's like wrong pronunciation, but it's really bad. It's like there's a huge safety issue in using Internet Explorer 9. At least let them upgrade to 11, that it's better, but okay. Hello, Chartfront client and Internet Explorer stacks. Yes, thank you guys. Okay, the theme looks like Adam. Yes, I know it looks like Adam. I'm using Materialize. I did a video to explain like how I edited this thing. Internet Explorer 10. You shouldn't use Internet Explorer 10. You shouldn't use Internet Explorer at all because Microsoft dropped the support of Internet Explorer, if I'm correct, right? or it's gonna drop the support soon. It's developing just Microsoft Edge, so that means the Internet Explorer is not getting any security updates or safety patches, and that makes your internet experience really bad. Like you have the front door open for every virus and malware. So don't just convince your client to upgrade. Just download Google Chrome, download Firefox. They're free. Like, what's the point? Use a better browser. That's the thing. Why you use Atom only on Windows systems? No, I don't use Atoms on Windows systems. She says, switch to Linux OS for web dev. Sam asked, if you want to, it's like amazing. Yes. I did a video. I showed how to set up a LAMP stack like Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP in few minutes on Linux. And it's amazing. You have full control because Linux is the operating system used in your online servers. So if you deploy something on your website is 99% of the time based on Linux. So if you develop your website on your local environment that it's Linux, you know that everything you do is going to work 100%, and you have full control on all the stacks and all the settings that you can have. So that's pretty much it. No one cares about Internet Explorer anymore, so why should we? Yeah, that would be like utopian, a utopian word. Yeah, enterprise. Okay, Stefan says the enterprise clients have Internet Explorer 9 and 10. That's true. That's a shitty thing. And if you're doing something for an enterprise, you should really talk with the IT guy and say if they have the ability to upgrade. If not, unfortunately, you have to adapt yourself. But if you adapt yourself, you have to tell them, okay, I'm developing something for an outdated technology, so you have to pay me more, because you cannot just like do the same work and spend hours and hours on fixing for Internet Explorer just because that client is outdated. So just ask for more money. Vim as an IDE, yes, Vim is amazing. Vim, Emacs, those are like amazing IDE. You should use them if you feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable with Vim because I never learned Vim properly, so I get really confused. But I know that it's incredible. Vietnamese stacks, it's amazing. I want to try the Gulp. Yes, download the AWS and try the Gulp. Frederick. Okay, can you advise when should you use WordPress and when Laravel? Because WordPress have 12 tables only. How big we can scale it? Okay, I'm gonna ask the. Oh, this t-shirt. Okay, this is a t-shirt. Let me see if I can show you guys. Let me. This is a t-shirt that Code Addict sent me, and it's helped me Stack Overflow. You're my only hope. If you're interested, you should go on Code Addict and check their website. They have amazing t-shirts. So it's beautiful. I know that with the graphic you cannot see like below help me. Looks like I asked for help. I'm asking for help. Help me, please. I'm in so much pain. But anyway, okay, I'm gonna answer the last question and I'm gonna start coding, otherwise we will never go back. The last question is from Chetan Chide. Hopefully it's right. Can you advise when should we use WordPress and when Laravel? Because WordPress has 12 tables only in the database. How big can we scale? So WordPress can be scaled as big as you want. It doesn't really matter the amount of tables. It doesn't really matter the amount of data, as far as you keep following the architecture and construction of WordPress. And WordPress is a CMS. Laravel is a framework. That means that when you install Laravel, you don't have anything. You have just a bunch of code to help you code something from scratch. WordPress, you have the full backend built for you. With WordPress, you should care only about the front end and maybe extend a little bit the backend with some extra plugins or some extra custom code. Laravel, you have to build everything completely from scratch. So they're both great. Laravel is more if you want like full control of everything and you want to build everything from scratch and you don't care about having a ready for you CMS and you need to I don't know, code something completely custom, code something completely out of the scope of WordPress. WordPress, if you have a small, medium, a large project, it's perfect for you. If you want to scale, it depends on how clean is your code, because with WordPress, unfortunately, one of the few bad things about WordPress is that it's based on the open procedural code. So you can actually code open, like procedural inline PHP in your template files, and it's gonna work. So WordPress is more open to bad coding depending on the browser, not because WordPress is bad, but because WordPress is open. It doesn't use any template engine, it doesn't use any restriction from that point of view. So you can code whatever crap you want and it's gonna run probably. And that means that you can easily code something wrong that on the long run is gonna affect you in a bad way. Laravel is more strict. If you don't follow the rules of Laravel, following the code architecture and following all the paradigms and all these like namespaces and the facades that Laravel uses, it's not gonna run. You're gonna have like errors. You cannot do a lot of things. So you need to follow strictly that code rules. But Laravel, it's perfect for gigantic projects. If you know that your project is gonna start and like terribly big from the get-go and you need to build something completely custom, go with Laravel. If you know that you need a website or a blog or a company website that it doesn't require massive customization, go with WordPress. But be sure to follow the rules of WordPress, because WordPress is gonna run even with crappy PHP. Don't write crappy PHP or you're gonna have a bad time in the future. Okay, let's say I'm gonna start coding now because it's time to code something. Okay, I'm not gonna look at the chat anymore, otherwise I'm not gonna do anything. Okay, what I have to do, I'm gonna style these column here. I'm gonna style a bunch of tiles. I implemented just fake content. And as you can see from the sketch file, I have these two things. So I have these two blog posts, one for the two most recent blog posts. If we access the backend, I have the posts. I already implemented this content. I implemented the future image here. So I'm pretty set to go. Whatever about the content here, we're gonna take care of that later. So I'm gonna use flexbox to build the grid. I'm gonna see if my grid setup works properly, because could also happen that the standard AWPS setup is not suited for you, so you need to change it. I'm gonna show you how to change it because I need to change it right now. And then we're gonna use a PHP method to implement the future image, or like to grab the future image dynamically, just like based on WordPress and this kind of stuff. So let's access the source code. So that's index.php. Here it's my index. What I'm doing here, I'm getting the template part, use content get post format. And this is good because the settings here pretty much I'm following what type of post format I'm gonna have. If it's a standard post format, it's gonna be like this. If it's a video post format, it's gonna be like a video you can click. If it's a note post format, or if it's like a thought, I don't remember the type of post format that we have, but whatever, like let's access setup. We have here a side link, gallery, quote. So let's say status probably is gonna be, but anyway, so what I'm gonna style today is the standard post format. And if you know a little bit WordPress, the standard post format doesn't have anything. So you're calling the just content.php, not content and whatever. So let's access the views and content.php. That's perfect. The thing is, this content is gonna be used also in other sections. So I want to change this to use a different type of content, because in the index is only gonna print what's in the home page. So I want to create a subcategory, a subfolder called home, or I could call it index, or I could call front page, whatever you want. And just like, I know that my home page is the front page, and I'm gonna call the content with that post format. So I'm gonna create a new folder, call home, and then here I'm gonna duplicate this and I'm gonna put it inside the home subfolder, and now I have the content. That's perfect. Now I can edit this content to do whatever I want for me. So first, we don't have any date set, posted by, or whatever. Usually what I see people doing, let me update this, add is, yeah, Gulp watch is running, that's perfect. So my website already reloaded and it's connected, that's perfect. So as you can see, as you notice in my design, I don't have any date posted by admin, continue reading, all this kind of stuff. So the majority of the developers, what they do is they delete completely parts that they don't need. So we don't need the entry content with the screen reader and like read more. We don't need the entry data and all these kind of stuff. And so we don't need this, just completely delete it. This is kind of bad. You shouldn't do that because these HTML data is good for SEO. So if you don't need these things, use the helper function that I created. So if we access helpers.scss, we have here a hide type of class that is gonna display none and visibility hidden. That's perfect for us because we wanna maintain these implementation or these features here because we want the entry footer, we want the text about the author, we want the text about the date, the publishing date, but we don't want them to be visible, but it's good for SEO. So just hide these things, right? That's perfect. Oh, if you notice something, here I'm updating the content.php. So for example, if I completely remove the entry header and I just cut it, I save, my browser doesn't update because I created the content.php file after Gulp watch was running. If you create a new file after Gulp is running, Gulp cannot recognize that file because Gulp grabs everything that currently exists and looks for those files. If you create a new one, it's not gonna work. So if we just create a new file, we need to stop Gulp watch and relaunch Gulp watch. So it can cache again all the files that we recently created and it's gonna look for those files. So as you can see now, automatically updated my the website with the updated that I had, and if I put back the header and I save, automatically, let's access back. Yes, it's completely back. That's amazing. Here I don't need to have the excerpt. I need just the entry title. So because this content is inside the home, I don't need to check for if this page is single or if I'm in the title, I'm in the actual page of my blog post. So I can simply replace or completely remove this if statement because I know that I'm never gonna use this template inside another page. I'm only using this template inside my home page. The entry meta is done. Okay, rel bookmark, that's perfect. Get permalink, and then I'm gonna hide the content, entry content. I want the continue reading and I want to have the excerpt because it's good for SEO, it populates more data, but I don't want this to be visible. Basically, I want just the title and that's perfect. It looks kind of ugly. Okay, awesome. So now it's time to align these and use flexbox. Let's use directly a class here, post class, and let's add an array of, create some space because otherwise the PHP code sniffer is gonna yell at me. Flex item. Okay, let's check here. Boom, 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 boom. We have the flex item. That's perfect. And now we can do something. So here we have this loop inside these already declared row with a couple of columns. I don't want to update these columns. I want to maintain them. So I'm going to create another row to wrap these all the posts inside the index.php. What I'm going to do is If have posts is home is front page, boom. Oops. Here. I'm gonna close PHP. I'm gonna div row. I'm gonna cut this. Reopen PHP. Perfect. And then if have post, if doesn't have post, the post navigation, let's include the post navigation inside here. And then let's open and close PHP again, save it. Perfect. Now, because I put the row container inside and then I have those flex item, this flex item is completely online. Let's do something just to have a visual of what I'm doing. So let's add another class here called background gray or background red. Do I have the red color? Let's access our variables.scss. I have light gray, gray. Let's add, let's use background gray. Background gray, boom, boom, boom. Okay, now I have the background. Let's create a little bit of margin for this. So let's say margin right 4 and then margin left 4 again, or maybe 2 and 2. Yes, let's do 2 and 2. Okay, there you go. Now I have the margin. Let's create also the padding. I know this is kind of weird. It's sorry, I get distracted by the questions. This is kind of weird because we are implementing all the classes in an array of the post class. If we want, we can specify the classes array here and write something like this and write all our classes inside here and then inject the classes variable, the classes array inside here. So you can do that, or you can write everything in line inside an array. It's like totally up to you. But don't get confused. It's just like because we need to call the post class of WordPress. Here, let's say that we want a padding right of 2, and then we want also a padding left of 2. That's perfect. Boom. Now we have our amazing grid. It works pretty nicely. Let's give it a margin. Whoops. Margin bottom of 4. Perfect. So now if it stacks, it goes here. That's amazing. Do we like it? I like it a lot. Basically, with few classes, I generated all the things that I needed. Amazing, no? Okay, what server software are you using for the LAMP and the SAS compile, etc.? All with Gulp. I'm using just Gulp. Compiling. Oh, you're talking between the two of you. Sorry. Sorry, guys. I thought you were talking with me. I apologize. Okay, now there's the thing. To optimize a little bit of things here, I'm using margin right, margin left, margin top, margin bottom. I'm not using margin top. So I could potentially remove all these classes, or like margin right, left, and bottom, and just use one simple margin declaration. So let me remove this, and let's use just margin for. Let me see if I have, I don't have it. So let's go inside the spacing.scss. I have just for padding. So I want to do the same for margin M. Perfect. I go back. And now I have my margin 4. Why is it not working? Flexbox margin 4. Oh, sorry, wrong. Probably you're shouting at me. No, you're not shouting. Okay, margin. I'm using margin 4 as a padding. Is not okay. Okay, perfect. I have margin 4, and that's perfect. That's amazing. Why stacking? Oh, okay, because I have that. Okay, perfect. Okay, now Fidel, this is PHP. Okay, so now what happened? We just want single declaration. I have margin 4, and the margin 4 is like bigger than my container, and it's like stacking automatically everything. So what I can do the negative declarations of margin to fix everything. So let's go in the road, and I'm declaring here, and I can declare the margin top, it's -4. So this one is gonna go back up and realign to the top. And then I have the margin. What am I doing here? Margin right, -2, and margin left, -2. Boom. Oops. No, this is wrong. Dash. Yeah. Okay. It's perfect. I think I have to do margin -4. Okay, it's not a line. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Okay, never mind. This is... Oh, because it's going up. Okay, sorry. Never mind. Let's go back. Sometimes happens. It's not correct. Let's go back what I had before because it was working perfectly, and I'm gonna maintain it. So margin bottom 4. That's perfect. Boom. Oh, what is happening? Oh, okay. I didn't have enough space. Ooh, sorry. Okay. Let's grab the future image. So the background, we want the background image to be for the entire container. So here it's gonna cover everything, the entire container. First, let's create a class here for the background white. Let's go back in our, okay, we have the background white. What's the padding here? 16, 56, 14, 15, 16, let's say padding 20. So let's specify P2. Okay. Okay. Warp. No wrap. It's not working. Oh shit. Oops. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. I'm doing this stuff. No wrap. Okay. So here I'm growing too much, and I'm doing this. So is justify. Let me access the grid. As you can see here, I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing because I cannot remember everything. So flex item and grow, flex grow. Okay, flex item and grow. Let's see if I do grow. Okay, so the grow, I think it goes 100%. Yes, grow goes 100%. Okay, flex item, align, stretch, align baseline, all items, stretch, flex end, flex start, space around, space between, space around, justify between. I think it's justify between. Oh, it's so warm in here. I don't know if you notice, sweating so much. Okay. So I need to set max width for this. So let's not use the flex item here, but let's use the column access12 and the call small 6. Boom, bam, boom. Okay. And then in this case, I need to remove all this stuff. Just the margins, just the margins. Okay, that's perfect. Now, but I have the wrong padding. Are you guys still with me? Okay. So what I did here, the flexbox wasn't working properly for me. because I need to have these a little bit more fluid. So I'm using the default grid, but the default grid by default doesn't have what I need, especially doesn't have the spacing that I need. So first, what I want to do, I want to remove all this kind of stuff from the actual article and wrap the article inside a grid container, or like a column container. So let's say div class, let's copy these, column XS 12 and column small 6. And then I want this to have the margin bottom of 4, and this padding, let's keep it like this. Let's keep it like this, and let's remove completely this code, and let's wrap everything around the article. And let's indent properly this thing. Okay, save it. Okay, perfect. Now, background gray. Okay, perfect. Let me remove these background white for a second. Okay, that's perfect. This is what I wanted. I have the grid and it's kind of fluid, and then it's small, it just compresses, but actually let me do small, it goes 12, and medium, it stays at 6. So I have a better responsive stacking. Yes, that's what I wanted. So here we have the problem that this is too big. This is too small. The gutter is too small. And because the gutter is too small, I don't like it. Doesn't match my design. Like, I want way more space. I could simply, if you think, I could simply just access my variables and increase the gutter to 40. That is the gutter that I want to use. But if I do that, I'm gonna pretty much destroy everything else, because the gutter affects also the spacing. I'm doing a spacing by multiplying the gutter multiple times. But then if I do this, I have the proper gutter that I want, and that's amazing. But the problem is that I'm destroying everything else. So what I can do, I can edit the default grid of AWPS. To edit the default grid, that's a case scenario, and that's what you should do. First, create a custom gutter. So I'm gonna create a custom gutter called gutter grid, and you can use this as camel case, or you can use like underscore. It doesn't really matter. I like camel case for variables. And then let's put the gutter of 40. Then access only the grid.scss and select all the gutter variables, and then change all the gutters to gutter grid. Perfect. Now let's go back here. Now we have our spacings that is still correct. We're not destroying it, but we updated the gutter of our grid and only the grid to respect whatever we want. And this is the spacing that we want. If we notice here in the design, we have just 80 pixels. That is the double of the gutter of 40 pixels between. And to do that, I can do it directly in the index.php in my sidebar, or I can do it directly in the sidebar.php, because I'm including that sidebar in any page. So I don't want to update only the index.php, but I want to update all the sidebars globally. So I can do simply margin left, I want to be 40. So automatically my gutter is now at 40. The problem is that when I scroll down and I reach the media query, where everything's stacked, so it's like medium here, I still have that margin that I don't want anymore because I'm not having the columns. So what I can do is just like add a class to say that margin left at medium resolution, I guess, or small, let's see, has to be 0. So let's update. Let's see if I cache the right one. Scroll down, scroll down. Oops, no, it's happening. Oh, well, it's good. It's kind of good because as medium, you see here the gutter, the spacing of this thing. Now we are at 40 pixel here. If we shrink it down, boom, it goes 0. Perfect. So now we have this kind of responsive, not kind of, totally responsive grid that we can control, and we use the grid and we achieve the grid. Now let's style a little bit this thing because it's kind of, ooh, ugly. So let's access the content. Let's go back with the background white, and let's put text center. And here we have the H2. Let's add also a little bit of padding because this has a background gray, but we don't see no background gray. So let's have a padding of 4, and now perfect. This text is too big, so I'm sorry if I'm not answering questions. I'm gonna finish the things that I'm doing here and gonna start answering all your questions. So keep your questions. If I'm not answering, just rewrite your questions when I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna answer all your questions. Sorry. So here, let's see, the font size is 18. We have it here. Let's access our text editor. Let's access our typography.scss. Let's search for 18 pixels, and we have H5 that it's 18 pixels. So what you can do with AWS, instead of converting the content H2 to H5, you can apply a class of H5 here. And automatically this is gonna grab the declaration of the H5 without you converting the H2 into an H5, because for SEO purposes, you need an H1 that has to be the title of the page, that is this one, and then you need to have a proper structure, H2, H3, H4, and so on. So don't change the markup, use the classes that in the typography are applied as the same as the markup. So you have an H4 markup and an H4 class. So if you need to use an H4 style to not an H4 markup, you can do it, and it's so good. And automatically in the typography, we have the media query that shrinks down when we reach the small. So this is dynamically responsive. Look what happens when I go small. It goes small as well. So that is amazing, right? No, it's not. Yes, it is. Sorry. Okay. So here I applied a padding of 2. It's too much. I see here that I have in my my style, I have a padding of 16 and here 17. So let's say I want a padding of 16. Let's create a custom padding. So let's create an entry header custom padding, or it's better to not use generic classes like entry header. Let's use a unique class for this. So let's call these like title label, whatever. Yes, let's copy this, and that's the point where you can do whatever you want with your AWS. You can style the title label inside the typography, you can style inside pages. I have default empty home.scss file where you can declare all the classes for your home. So if you have some unique classes for a unique page, let's use that. So let's use title label, and let's say that I want a padding of gutter that is 10 multiplied by 1.6, and automatically the gutter 1.6 is going to be applied to my, ooh, this is not good to see, okay, to my entry header. That's perfect. So now the H2 as by default, by the default declaration, as margin top and bottom because the browser automatically applies margins. Let's simply say that my title here, I want margin 0, and boom, let's remove all the extra margins. But here we guess probably we have, no, it's just like 4 pixels, so that's perfect. The line height is gonna take care of this. Craft beer. Okay, so here we want to take care a little bit of this indentation, or like this is good, this is perfect. Let's create this border, and the border is at the label. So let's create okay. Border label. Let's create this border label. Let's go back into home and let border label. So here the border is interesting because it's detached by 1 pixel, 2 pixels from the actual label. So let's create an absolute element or something that is actually detached from oh, sorry, I'm reading a comment. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna answer your question in a bit. Almost done. Border label. So we need to create the border label. Unfortunately, we cannot like create a border and say the border is detached from the container, or the border is there or is not there. So let's create an absolute element around the title label that it's a static content or it's a relative content. And let's see if I have something, the helpers, to be absolute, position absolute. Okay, I have an absolute class that I could extend or no. Okay, let's do something completely custom here. Okay, let's say position is absolute. Ooh. And then I want to be top. Ooh. Top 0, bottom 0, right 0, left 0. And then I want to have a border 1 pixel solid, and let's use the variable white that I declare. So if I have here, let's go back in our home, let's see if I have it. Header, title label, border label. Okay, we need to specify that the border label, oh sorry, my mistake. So the border label has to have a position relative, and then sorry sorry guys, a little bit of allergy. This is terrible. Semicolon in the first rule. Sorry. Yes, I guess my my Gulp is shouting at me. So sorry. You're totally right. Do I have something else? Okay. Poof. Okay, Gulp, watch. So sorry. Okay, and here we wanna ampersand before wrap this declaration inside the before. Where are you going? You go here, you indent properly in B4. That's perfect. Let's see. Gulp sus, we have an issue again. Page home, left 0, and another semicolon. Okay, that's perfect. Let's go back here. Perfect. Now, if we refresh, it's connected. Header. We don't have the B4 class. Where is my B4? Border label. Do I have another CSS declaration error? No, I don't. Okay. So let's say that I want all these stuff to be 2 pixels, and then I want this display block. Oops, display block, and I want to have a content. Content empty. Bam. And then I go here, and now I have my B4. That's perfect. That is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and it's inside. So I need to have all these stuff to be negative 2 pixels. Perfect. Not that great. Negative 4 pixels. Is it good? Do you like it? It's kind of okay. Okay, The thing that I want to show you now is that, okay, we created this custom class called border label, and we have this EB4, like these %B4, that it's in a position absolute. Every time you create a pseudo element that is before, after, you need to declare the position, the display, and the content. And it's always so painful. So what if we wrap this in a class that we can use for ourselves? That's perfect. Let's do it. Let's access our helpers. That is the class that I usually, or is the file, not this, helpers.css is the file that I use to write all the classes that I usually reuse. And I'm gonna create a class called absolute before, and I'm gonna just grab this stuff and I'm gonna paste it here. But in this case, I'm gonna replace this -4 with 0. Okay, now I have this absolute before class that instead every time writing, oh my god, too many files. Instead of every time writing these declarations again over and over again, I can simply extend absolute before. If I save it and I go back in my homepage here, even if I refresh, everything works perfectly. I can do even better if I want. I can, instead of rewriting all these things, I can create I can extend, or I can implement better the absolute before by including the %before directly inside this class. So if I copy this, for example, and I put it here and I leave this stuff here, I remove the position relative and I go inside my helpers, I can say that the absolute before, the element that has this class has a position relative, and then the before element of this has to have all these declaration, position absolute, blah, blah, blah. So here I can simply declare top, bottom, left, and right. That's perfect. Another thing that I could do now, because I have the class here in the helpers absolute before, I can completely remove the extension of the class absolute before to the border label, and I can add it directly to my content, because the header now I can apply absolute before. Let's go back. Everything is still the same. Nothing changed. Nothing changed because I wrapped that class that I know I'm gonna always use this. Like every time I need to have a before element or a pseudo element, I need to declare the position of the parent element that is relative, and then the pseudo that is absolute, display block, content empty, and then by default the location of this. And then of course, as you can see in the home, I can override those settings just for me, just like to, I don't know, do whatever you want. And also here I have in my colors the border color white. If I want, I can extend this and have this border 1 white, and I can say that is border is 1 pixel solid, and then the color. So now here I can simply extend the border 1 white class. Let's go back in homepage, and still the same. What I did, basically, I optimized my code to not have a huge declaration and being forced, like in the future, I'm gonna have multiple pseudo elements that are gonna reflect exactly the same class. So instead of rewriting the same class or having like slightly different changes, I created a modular type of declaration. I have the helpers class, absolute before, that I can apply to any other element that I want. I have the default border 1 pixel wide that I can implement whatever, and I have just a bunch of declarations to customize that specific view of that class. and not rewriting everything, like the huge chunk of code, because everything is modular. I can call it whatever you want. This is like the beauty of AWS, or like my type of modular, more modular approach, if you want, if you wish. So that's the thing. Sorry. Okay, let's implement the future image in this, and we're gonna call it a day. So first of all, again, in the helpers.php, I have default class that I forgot. Do I have like media.css? Yes, in the media.css file, I have this background image class that has default declaration to have a background image in a container that automatically scales for itself. So I'm gonna apply this background image class to my content.php, that is the article here. Boom, background image. And then I'm gonna apply style. It's gonna be not CSS, style equal background image URL. And I'm gonna have PHP open and close of echo WP get attachment URL. Hey Bambule, yes, I'm recording everything, so it's gonna be published automatically after I finished. Okay, WP get attachment. Get a post thumbnail. Get a post thumbnail. Oh, sorry. No. WP. I totally get confused with this stuff, with all these declarations. Let's solve it in a bit. So get the underscore post thumbnail URL. Okay, this is the thing. If we save it and we do something, expect next thing, okay, whatever, let's put a semicolon, boom. Expect next thing to be an escaping function, not get. Get the post thumbnail. Yes, I should follow the PHP code fixer declaration, but I don't care right now. I'm just coding. So automatically this grabs my images, and it grabs the image of the future image, right? Grabs everything that I need, and that's pretty great. The problem with this, and automatically grabs the thumbnail resolution, and if you want, I want to declare or whatever, you can change it. We have two arguments here that we can specify. The first one is the post ID, that in our case is just like get the ID, and the second one is the size of the post timeline. So this is okay. It's not the best. So what I want to do, I want to convert this and return this thing into object-oriented class. Okay, sorry, I guess distracted with all these things. So let's say that, oh, someone is back. Sorry, I'm live streaming here. My dog is getting crazy, so I'm gonna close the door 2 seconds. I'm gonna be back in a few seconds. Go. Okay. Okay, so. Okay, there you go. I'm totally getting distracted. So sorry, almost done. Okay, this is okay. This is kind of okay, but it's kind of super convoluted, and especially I know that in the website I'm gonna use this multiple times, so I'm gonna declare an inline style background image. So why not wrapping everything to just a simple method that I can dynamically call? That's perfect, right? So let's do it. Let's close the SCSS. Let's close the source. Let's access the custom.php, and also in this case you can write these you can write your custom classes whatever you want. I'm just using the custom.php because it's easier for me. It's already set up for me, so it's totally fine. And I don't need to create any action because I'm gonna call that class or that method directly. So I'm gonna create a public static function called get featured image. Oopsie. There's like that. So I'm gonna declare something that it by default. Let's leave it at that. Let's use doc blocker to fill up something. Get featured image description. Call the native WP. Get post thumbnail URL. Return inline style background image attribute. Okay, perfect. Now what we can do, we can simply and totally if we want here, boom 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 boom, cut this thing, save it. That's perfect. Let's go in our custom and just simply echo this entire code. Ooh, what's this? Style background, echo this entire code. And here we remove the echo. Remove the echo. We remove the question mark. We put okay, and we remove the URL class declaration. That's perfect. So now I have this method that it's simply wrapping a default WordPress function, but in this way I can use and not write every time the style background image URL get post blah 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 and all this kind of stuff. I can simply write reopen the PHP tags and say AWPS backward slash. We are inside custom backward slash custom, that is the name of the class, double column, and then I'm gonna name and call the method get featured image, or just simply featured image. Just call it like that. Simple as that. And that's it. Semicolon. Save. Let's go back in our front end. Still the same. Nothing's changed. Let's refresh. That's perfect. But this is way cleaner. In my opinion, this is way cleaner because first, I don't have to repeat that style background every time. Second, if I have this class or this method calling dynamically everywhere in every file, if in the future I decided I only want to return the large image or I want to return just the thumbnail size, I just have to update one method here, and in every other part that I'm using that method is gonna get updated. So that's pretty dope, right? Or if I decide that the future image doesn't have to return anymore the style background, but I just want to return the actual image URL for me to store in a variable, I can add just one single method and it's going to automatically apply all those things in every other classes. So that's pretty great, I guess. I could style these to have, yes, let's have a margin top of 18. Whoops. Where are we going? Where are we going? What's happening? Okay, sorry. Margin top 18. And boom. We got it. It's pretty legit, right? Okay, of course we don't have anything. Nothing is like clickable, nothing like we don't have any link, but we're gonna do that later. We're gonna wrap into an A tag and do whatever we want. But think that's it, right? There was a pretty weird live development session. Okay, it's time for questions. Let me switch back to my beautiful face. There you go. Oh my God, I'm red. It's so warm in here. Okay, let's start. Okay, guys, question time. Let me know. What do you want to know? What do you want me to tell you? Oh, so many questions. Hey, hi, Peter Parker. Yes, you're say hi to my dog. Yes. My girlfriend just came back. She was out for work. And when someone comes in the house, Peter is so happy, starts running around back and forth. So it goes crazy. Okay, thank you very much for your time and effort you put into this channel. It's my pleasure. What website do you recommend for learning PHP? Tuts Plus and Laracast. Laracast and Tuts Plus. I suggest you these two. Laracast.com. Laracast.com is amazing. There are a bunch of free classes, free courses, especially like the PHP practitioner or intro to Laravel. There's amazing. You should follow these. And then Tuts Plus, I guess that it's, yes, tutsplus.com. It's full of free courses and it's amazing. I should strongly suggest you that. Okay, next question. How are you, Alex? Sam, I'm great. I'm super tired. I'm doing oh, sorry. That was my face in front of the thing. I'm doing a lot of things, but I'm great. I'm happy. Here we go. Is 42 always the answer? Yes, 42 is always the answer. Laracast, love it. Thanks a lot. Okay, thanks for this live development. Can you recommend a good custom login and registration system for WordPress, please, which does not use WP login, provide front-end user profile? I don't know. Actually, you can customize the WP login and you can extend it and you can change the front end and also the behavior of the WP login if you want. It's completely open for you to customize it. So you can use some hooks, not actually edit the WP login.php file, or you can create a custom page and then do an AJAX call to your hook, to your login hook. It's just, you have different options. There are many plugins, I'm sure, that they customize the login page or the registration page for you. Okay, blank, to be correct, should be return string inline style background image attribute, but you don't return any, so delete the return. Yes, correct. Yes. You're right. You're right, Blank Wolf. Yes, I'm just simply like, let's write echo. I'm the worst in writing documentation for PHP, so you're totally right. So sorry. Okay, do you use AngularJS? Looking for a job, and I'm seeing a lot of these AngularJS requirements. Currently building an application to learn it. Yes, I use AngularJS. I suggest you to check Code School. Angular, they have an intro to AngularJS that is totally free and it's amazing. I use AngularJS on my day-to-day job. Actually, a little shout out. So let me change this coding here. Let me access this page. Let's stop the question for a second. Let's go to ritualmusic.com. That is my my job, my daily job website. This website is built in Laravel and AngularJS, and it's a marketplace with original music. Just go there, go to the browse section, check all the songs, all these playing and the playings and the waveforms navigation. The entire website is built in Laravel and AngularJS and works beautifully. You can filter songs, you can add, you can check your moods, production, and just like change whatever you want and clear automatically filters, refreshes for yourself. It's just like so good and works perfectly. But anyway, if you sign up, you will get a promo code 50% off. So you can get a song for you to use whatever you want. If you're a video producer, a content producer, you need original music that you can retain the rights, you just buy a song and you have it forever. You have all the stamps, all the original content, all the original instruments. You can do, it's royalty free, so you don't have to pay royalty if you put it on a YouTube video or in your project or for your clients. Just subscribe or just sign up. You're not gonna get spammy, so you're not gonna get spam emails, absolutely. It's beautiful. You can check all the playlists that we have with all our songs. It's just amazing. And sometimes we will release some promo code or some offer for 100% off, so you can get a song for free, or 80% off, so you can get a song for like $10, and it's beautiful. It's just like so good. Go check it. Sign up if you want. I will really appreciate it. It's my daily job. That's what I'm doing. So yes, I use AngularJS a lot. Let's go back to questions. Oh, okay. Let's go back up. Alessandro, when do you think you will start plugin series for WordPress? I'm gonna start next week the WordPress mega menu development, and it's gonna be just like 3 videos, I guess. And then after that, I'm gonna start the plugin. And ideas, loading, custom post typing, and other custom post type methods with all data. I'm struggling for weeks. Great tutorials. This is a complicated question. Send me an email, Niels, or write me on a Facebook page, direct message, and I will try to help you, because it's kind of long to answer right now. And if I don't show you any code, it's gonna be kind of complicated. How do you tweak the Linux to look so much as a Mac? I'm not on Linux yet. So the Linux machine, I built it and I'm using as an HTPC, so a home theater. So I have it connected to my television. I use it to stream, I use it to play games, and I use it to develop mostly the UX design app, the Qt apps built in Qt. So I'm not using it for my day-to-day. My main machine is this iMac, and I'm stuck with that for now. Because as you can see, I use a lot of design things, and until my app is not ready, I cannot completely switch to Linux. And my switch to Linux is like slow. It needs to be slow. I cannot be disruptive, otherwise I'm gonna get in trouble. One more question: can you recommend a personalized email newspaper plugin? Email newsletter, you mean, right? Which can send different email newsletter based on the preference they choose. Okay, there's newsletter plugin. There's one that I used. Let me switch here. Whoopee newsletter plugin. I don't remember the name. Yes, newsletter is called. I use this one. And it's great, has a lot of amazing features, and it's perfect. I never had any problem. It's really standard. Be sure that you have a proper email server on your server, email client, SMTP client. This one is pretty good. It's one of the best that I used. I didn't use it much. I mostly use MailChimp, that is external, but this one works pretty well. So I suggested this one. Which parts did you develop about Ritual? I guess 99% the front end, a lot of the back end, especially this part, the search algorithm, these like interaction, the UX and UI. I did mostly the front end part of these things. I designed a lot of pages. Most of the pages are built by myself. But there's another developer with me that his name is Vinit. He's a mostly backend developer. He's amazing in Laravel, has a massive knowledge of PHP, and he built pretty much the ground base of this application, and it's amazing. He built also some pretty cool things with DynamoDB and AWS. He's amazing in backend. So we have this thing split, but I do a bit of PHP myself. I do a bit of backend, but we switch. Sometimes he does front end, and just like it's pretty much everything. Which version of Angular? 1.5.3. Advanced and Custom Fields Pro, yes, it's amazing. I need to include a calendar in Vue. I want to show the calendar left mount clickable. Oh my god, so many questions. Right, was the event that day? What maybe an article blog? Is there any plugin? Not sure, Frederick. I haven't used a calendar plugin in many years. I'm gonna do a research and I'm gonna write you a message if I find something good. I'm sorry. Blank Wolf, I'm glad that I'm a PHP backend developer and so bad at the front end stuff. It's all right. Like you can learn. It's not impossible. It's totally fine. I'm sorry about that, but thanks, I really appreciate it. Thanks for answering these questions. Good luck in the future. Thank you. We're just looking forward for your Linux sketch killer you're brewing. Yes, I can't wait to finish that application. I'm a full stack developer. I'm really good in PHP. I don't get to use PHP much. I code in Laravel a lot. I mostly do front-end stuff because I really care about the user experience point of view. So if you have a really strong backend, but the user struggles in using your application, it doesn't matter how clean your backend code is, the user is the thing that he sees is the front of your application. If it's not well written, it's gonna poop on your application. So that's why I think I have a bigger interest in the front end part, but I'm really strong in PHP and MySQL. I'm a DevOps kind of guy. I can manage a server, I can set up servers, I can build computer. I pretty much like a full stack all the way through. Any suggestion for design a website like you do is so beautiful, please guide. There's a playlist in my playlist channel, in my channel on YouTube, how to design a website. Just follow that. There are like 12 type of videos. I show every step, so like my process. You should follow that. It's really insightful. Really need that one. Like, isn't hiding content like post meta penalized by Google? I'm afraid. Not really. I mean, yes, it's slightly penalized, but better than not having that. I'm gonna do a video on how to implement like proper meta tag and the schema.org type of tags for Google. But having the content written, it's better than not having content at all. Even if it's hidden. So. Okay, can I define as full stack developer by your words? I mean, a full stack developer is someone that knows both front-end technology and back-end technologies. So it's a developer that it's comfortable with PHP, a database, or I don't know, back-end coding, like even like Ruby on Rails, or like uses properly a framework like Laravel, and then a front end, it's someone that knows better, that knows in a proper way front end technology like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or whatever other JavaScript framework you want. So a full stack developer is a developer that is comfortable in taking care of both of the architecture and the back end of an application, and the front end and the UX part, and the front-end aspect of an app or a website, I guess. I don't know. Alex have some of the best design videos out there. Oh, wow. A guide over the top process in design. Learn a lot as a developer and way less design. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you guys. Okay. Okay, I guess that's pretty much it. Of course, last shout out to the support me page, and there's a news in the support me page. If you guys saw it recently, where am I going? Support me page. Okay, support me page is the usual thing. If you want to do a PayPal donation, there's an Amazon link. If you're buying something on Amazon, click on the link and go through my link. You don't have to pay anything. I just get a shout out from Amazon. It's just like, it's good. And then I open a Patreon page. You don't have to be my Patreon to access my content. It's going to be completely free, only on YouTube, and always on YouTube. If you want, you can be a Patreon by doing a monthly donation, whatever you want. Really, it's just, I feel embarrassed in asking, but I'm developing this custom application, and I'm thinking to dedicate more and more time to things, and then to these aspects like education and this kind of stuff. And being a Patreon will help me to improve it a lot. And also, I will offer some private tutoring. So if you guys have I don't know, you have a job that you cannot do, you have a deadline, you have school application, or like you have an exam and you're completely messed up and you don't know anything about PHP or WordPress and you feel struggle, you can pledge a $50, and with $50 I will add you to my personal Slack channel, so you can like text me directly every day, and I will dedicate to you 2-hour session per month, so we can have a weekend. We check 2 hours, we chat directly in Hangout or Skype, and we do coding together. So we solve issues together, and I do private tutoring for you. And it's limited to just 3 people because I cannot do anymore, but it's a service that I want to add to professionals or students that they can afford to pay a little bit this membership and they need help. Hopefully you're not gonna get offended from this thing. If like, I'm not asking you to be my Patreon, it's just if you need or if you want, you can do it, but whatever, just close it. Okay, let's answer more questions. What happened to the Turnip Man? I am coding a lot, so the Turnip Man, I will do it. I will be back on it. I promise. After JavaScript and jQuery, what would you suggest to learn? You should learn Vue.js, Bamboo, or another JavaScript framework like React or Angular.js. Satafix asks this question. Yes, or you should switch to ES6 and like more complex JavaScript, depend on your knowledge of JavaScript. So that's up to you. But yes, ES6 for sure, then Vue.js, you could go to JavaScript, React, all this kind of stuff. Do you want to see a pic of what I mean, or did you get? Don't be embarrassed about it, you deserve it. Sorry. What do you mean, Frederick? Frederick, sorry, I lost the your questions. Can you repeat your question? What should I look at it? Sam, I haven't updated my blogging lately. Yes, I have actually 3 blog posts ready to be published, but I don't have time to finish them. And if you notice, like last week, I published 5 videos about AWPS. So I really like 5 videos in 6 days. It's just like mind blowing for me. I never did it. It's amazing. Don't be embarrassed. Thank you so much. The calendar thing. Yes, Frederick, if you can write me on my Facebook page and send me what you need about the calendar, I will take a look around. I used calendars in the past. I don't know if there's something like that, but I guess it's pretty easy to customize. So write me on Facebook. We can chat directly and we can solve the problem that you have. So it's going to be pretty good. Thank you, Sam. I'd like to help. Trust me, Alex, we kind of waited for the Patreon. Oh, thank you. No, it's all right. Okay. Do you have any ETA on your new website with forum, etc.? After Sabrina Miso's website, that it should take me like a couple of weeks to finish, I'm going to start coding my website. So I'm going to use AWPS as well. And I don't know when it's going to be up and running, man. It's just like a lot of things. It's gonna be just like, I don't know, like that. I'm gonna make a WordPress education course theme. Any suggestions? Follow my tutorials. I don't know like what are suggestions I will give you. It's such a broad question, so start with something small, start with something simple, start with just like a simple maybe education, like a forum, like chat and answer response type of thing. Then start with classes type of post type or course type of post type, and then slowly extend. Don't try to start coding immediately the big picture, the gigantic final product, otherwise you're gonna get slammed. Can you make videos about advanced UI design? Sure, I could. What do you mean by advanced? I mean, give me an example. What do you mean? Thanks for sharing and inspiring. You're very welcome, Daryl. It's a pleasure. Ishan Patel. Yes, these videos after I've done WordPress, YouTube is gonna process the video and publish it automatically in an hour or two. It depends on how much it takes, but it's gonna be available to be watched later. Shortest road to production. Okay, any other questions? I'm looking at the camera. I'm looking at you. Okay, sorry. I have the chat there, so it's kind of weird to look it that way. I have so many messages. It's noon. We've been live streaming for 1 hour and a half. Oh my god, that's a lot. Thoughts on page builder like Divi? I don't like page builders. Sorry. I think page builders are great to build prototypes, but are not the best to build big production ready websites. Ooh. Especially like the thing is that you're not gonna stick with the same page builder for your entire life. How many times you update your theme? How many times you're gonna replace or improve or like change something in your WordPress installation? If you build everything with your page builder, you're stuck with that page builder, because as soon as you disinstall or like deactivate the page builder, your code is going to shit. Like it's gonna be a disaster, because you're gonna have so many injection of custom code created by the builder that you don't know what to do with it. It's hard to manage, it's hard to maintain. So I don't recommend use a page builder if you want to prototype the final aspect, you want to do something quick, but don't use it for big production, especially for clients, because if the client decides to change a theme or like build something new, you're stuck with the page builder. It's terrible. Okay, sorry. I'm not saying that the page builders out there are terrible. There are like Elementor, Divi, or all these other like site builder. They're great, but they're not for me. I'm just saying that they're not for me. Hey Alex, did you ever try to build a theme for Envado's theme forest, and what do you think about that? I never tried it because I never had the time to do it. I think that the themes there on Envado are really high quality, really highly customizable. So in order to publish something, you need to spend a lot of time. I always just worked and released custom private themes for clients with like heavy customization for them. I never had the chance to build something for myself and publish it for Envado, but I think it's great. It's a great gig if you have the time and if you have the skills. Just like try to sell some theme there. You can see like the real quality. Okay, can you explain in few words what ES6 is exactly? Is it a framework? No, it's not a framework. So ES6 is like HTML5. It's a new type of convention markup scripting language of JavaScript. Is the updated language conversion. It's hard for me to talk in English when I'm tired, but it's the new updated JavaScript. It's still JavaScript, regular JavaScript, but was updated. So now you have new methods. You can use arrow functions. You have, instead of using the variable declaration, you can have a const for a constant variable, or a let variable declaration. It's an updated, it's like talking about PHP 7 or PHP 5. JavaScript is PHP 5. ES6 JavaScript is PHP 7. So you have new methods, you have new functions, you have new declaration, you have new rules. And ES6, unfortunately, is not universally supported by all the browsers. So when you use ES6, you need to compile it in vanilla JavaScript. That is the default basic JavaScript recognized by every browser. But ES6 is just a new version of JavaScript. It's not a framework. You don't need any framework. You don't need any source code to use ES6. You don't need. It's not like jQuery that you need to include jQuery in order to use jQuery. ES6 is regular JavaScript, but updated with super cool and new fancy stuff. Okay, the YouTube mug you showed us on Instagram, man, I thought you got a job at Google. No, I worked at Invoke Lab, that they're partnered with Google, and I had that mug. It was great. But no, I'm not a partner with Google, absolutely. I try to be, Actually, I try to access their contest to go to New York, and they always answer me back that my channel is not great. They tell me that my channel is not suited for what they're looking for. I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. Just, I don't know, talk to Google and tell them, hey, consider more Alex, because I don't know, it's great. I'm not complaining. It's just great. It's good. I love your tutorial. Is long a little bit. I know my tutorial are long. I talk too much, but I feel like I need to explain properly what I'm doing, especially because I'm doing tutorials for beginners. And a beginner, if you show, hey, this is what you do, that's it, it works, it will never remember, and it will never understand, why do I have to do this? Why cannot I cannot do in a different way? So sorry if I talk too much. I'm trying to improve. Thank you very much, Alex. Always a pleasure to see you. Thank you, Dan. Test out Elementor as a page builder. It's fast compared to the other. Also, when removing it, it dumps content to the main content area in WordPress. Yes, Elementor is great. They have a better approach compared to others. I did a review on Elementor. I loved it. Then trying to make it less disruptive as possible for your WordPress. So even if you deactivate it, it will work. Amazing. Be careful to not get curves. Yeah. Make videos about websites which has more interactions, more JS and stuffs. Okay, sure. I will do that. I will do more advanced UI stuff. Absolutely. I want to be better and want to learn and build advanced WordPress website. Thank you, Sean. Welcome, and thanks so much. What is your average time spent on WordPress theme? It depends on the type of theme. For Sabrina, this type of theme here that I'm building, if I code every day without stopping or without making videos, in 4 days it's ready to go and it's fully finished. If I do a theme like my theme with a forum with like 20 different custom post types or stuff like that, it will take me also up a month. But I'm pretty fast in developing. Like sometimes I build some websites in a day or two. It depends on how complicated they are. What are the difference between ES6 and TypeScript? I don't know because I never use TypeScript, but TypeScript is another different convention of JavaScript. It's like CoffeeScript. You write it in a different way, but also in that way you need a compiler to compile TypeScript to be readable by a browser, but I'm not really sure because I never used TypeScript probably, so probably I'm saying something wrong. Also, no more semicolons needed. Oh yes, in ES6, no more semicolons. Yes, it's great. The arrow functions of ES6 is my favorite. They don't need what the hell. They don't know what the hell they're talking. Sam, what are you? Oh, about YouTube. Okay, thank you. My channel is wonderful. Thank you so much, Federico. Just build your own Google and prove them wrong. Yes, I can build my own Google. It's gonna be so easy. Thank you. Yes, I could do that. No, I can't. Love your long tutorials. The long the better. Oh, thank you. It's different opinions, I guess. Okay. Your stuff is great, Alex. Many of us are inspiring web developers, and that's only because you put all the effort in this and in us for all these long years now. Yes, it's been 3 years that I have this channel. It's basic. Oh, sorry. Thanks a lot, man. We wait for that. Notification of your channel is on now. Yay! Advanced JS videos. Yes, I will do those. Absolutely. I think during the plugin development, I will implement some advanced JavaScript stuff. I want to do also an introduction to ES6 just to explain different things and different methods. But, oh, by the way, AWPS is based on ES6. So you can write ES6 with AWPS, and the Gulp file that I created compiles for ES6 in vanilla JavaScript. So all your ES6 code works perfectly with every browser because it compiles everything. So okay, I think that's it. You guys, you have any other questions? If you have other questions, like leave a comment below. I answer all the comments. Send me a message on Twitter, send me a message on my Facebook page, follow me that. Don't try, like I'm getting a lot of people sending me friend requests on Facebook. My Facebook profile, it's private for my friends and family. If you want to follow me, just add my Facebook page. I'm there pretty much every day, and I answer. Like, you can write to me there. If you send me a friend request on Facebook, I'm forced to just delete the request because I want to keep them separated. So sorry about that. Just follow me on Facebook page. It's there so I know who I'm talking to. Thank you. Send the picture on Facebook. Thank you, Frederick. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Looking forward to the next stream. Yes, me too. Why front end seems more hard than the back end? Oh, Arthur. Okay, the front end seems more hard than the back end. Is not, actually. They're both hard. But the front end, it's harder because front end, it's visible by the user. The back end, most of the times, is just visible by you as a developer. So you know what's going on. You know the structure that you want to use, and no one is going to tell you, hey, I cannot use this, because you build the backend, and if your methods works, your website works. That's it. The front end looks harder because you have to take care of 1,000 different users. You have to take care of the user that doesn't like to use the mouse and uses the keyboard to navigate your website. You have to take care of the user that has a resolution of 800 pixel screen instead of 1400, and you have to take care of the user that uses Internet Explorer 9. So you have way more variables that you cannot actually control, instead of like being only yourself that looks at your code and looks at the execution of your code from a backend point of view. So that kind of looks easier, the backend, but the backend is actually harder, in my opinion, because the backend, if you build a wrong backend, you can expose your website to attacks. And if you build a not safe database connection, that's bad, because someone could break your database and steal your data or destroy your website. So backend is more complicated from a safety and from a workflow point of view. Your architecture has to be solid. You have to follow the rules. You cannot just code it by yourself because no one is watching. It's just your backend. But the front end, it's harder. It seems harder because you get a lot of feedback from different users that you cannot control. So that's the thing. Thanks, Hervé. Thanks, Alec. I find front end easier than back end, maybe because I'm still learning PHP. Yeah, it's different point of views. Someone feels more comfortable with front end, someone feels more comfortable with back end. I like them both. I feel like I get really excited. You can see my backend skills in the AWPS, how I set up the classes, the methods, and how I set up the namespaces and composer and stuff. That's the type of backend that I like, a really compartmentalized type of classes, really modular, so I love that. Do you play some online games? No, I don't, unfortunately. I don't have the time. I used to play World of Warcraft. I started playing on my Linux machine Shadow of Mordor, but just in single player. I actually really like single player games because I can put my headphones, blast power metal music. I actually love Scandinavian power metal music. Sorry, let's not go there. And then I just like to zone out. If I'm on multiplayer, it gets like kind of like, I get anxiety from multiplayer because I don't want to just play with someone else and maybe screw it up for the entire team. So I just like single player. Probably I'm going to move to multiplayer somewhere. I don't know. I'm going to try Overwatch. If they do the port to Linux, I'm going to try Overwatch. Huh? Have you used WebStorm IDE? No, I haven't. My workflow is amazing with Sublime and the JetBrains IDEs. I think they're so expensive, and they have a yearly subscription that I don't like. That's why I'm also trying to build a UX design app, because Sketch passed to one payment all day to a yearly subscription. You have to pay every 1 year, 2 years. I hate subscriptions. Just don't. Sorry. If you want a subscription, just give me $1 per year, or like $9 per year, $9 per, not $100. It's okay. Sorry. I'm getting ready to start your WordPress 101 for beginners theme. I see you set up a local something. Where do I learn to set up local WordPress? Leonard, check my Apache, install Apache MySQL and PHP on Windows if you're on Windows, or check my Linux setup of Apache MySQL PHP for Linux. Or if you're on Mac, use Laravel Valet and set up a local environment. It's really easy to set up a local environment, and then use wp-cli to set up or install WordPress locally. It's amazing. Can't wait for object-oriented program PHP plugin series. Yes, I'm gonna explain a lot. Alecaddd Live. It's this Spanish. Oh no. Por favor, partes de code. Add files of plugin to add my theme WordPress. I don't understand. Sorry, can you write English? Thank you. At least you get constant updates. Yes, you get constant updates, but also on Sublime Text, I get constant updates. And I'm on a dev build, so I get updates pretty much daily. And because it's open source Sublime Text, no, it's not open source, sorry. That's my bad. Atom, it's open source. Sorry. But it's super fast. It's super stable. I love it. I'm going to try it probably, but okay. Thank you for your time and answering questions. It was really a pleasure to learn something new and get to know better AWS. Thank you so much. If I remember he explained it in there. Have a look at Laragon. If you're on Windows, I used XAMPP for so long, but I switched on Laragon, and it's really awesome. Oh, Laragon, never heard about Laragon. Okay. I'm on Laravel Valet. On macOS, I'm using Laravel Valet. It's amazing. It works great. Yes, it's amazing. It installed Nginx server and use DNS mask to automatically generate local environments or local websites. Just the best. It's just so quick. There's a port for Linux, Laravel Linux. Valet Linux is called. I tried to install it. It doesn't really work well, and I found that the Linux is so open, so easy to manage. You don't need to build that automated or use that automated thing. But okay. I used Laravel Valet also to code Laravel, of course, because it works nicely. Thanks, and most people say my name wrong. I have MAMP. Is it the same for setting local? Yes, it's pretty much the same. Can you use AWS on an existing project, or we should start from scratch? You can use it on an existing project, absolutely. What I'm doing, I'm coding the Sabrina's website locally, but after I finish, I'm gonna just publish the theme to the Sabrina's website. That if you want to follow it, it's sabrinamiso.com. That it's here. That if you know, it's full of articles and blog posts, and there's a lot of things, a lot of pages. So I'm gonna just install the theme on these database that already exist, and I hope it's gonna work. Not sure. Whatever. Hopefully it's gonna work. Valet Linux, what I'm on now. Nice, awesome. Regards from Colombia. My English bad, but I follow your serious WordPress video. Thank you so much thank you, Colombia. It's great. Thank you, Mario. Latest version getting great, at least on the Arch. Okay, yes, awesome. That's great. Laragon is kind of like Valet for Windows. It has Nginx server, etc., and sets up dev domains automatically. One-click Laravel WordPress installation. Really worth a try. Thank you, Bamboo, to share Laragon. Thank you so much. That's great. Windows development is kind of the worst thing, like local development. So if they build this, it's amazing. Good news. Any update on the WordPress Mega Menu tutorials? I'm gonna start next week. This was kind of the last video before the WP Mega Menu. No worries, Kamal. I'm starting. Could you use wp-cli on XAMPP on Windows to install WordPress? Yes, wp-cli. You can install WordPress in whatever directory. So if you use a directory of XAMPP, you can do it. Absolutely. Is AWS same as Roots? No, it's different as Roots. Roots is way more complicated in my opinion. Sorry, Sage or guys from Roots. It's way more convoluted. AWS is just standard WordPress theme underscore, but on steroids. So the workflow WordPress is identical. but you have PHP object-oriented programming to use it, and a Gulp built-in workflow for SCSS and ES6 JavaScript. That's it. Everything else is standard PHP, standard WordPress. Yes. Can you share the development sites over the net? I think you're referring to Laragon. I guess so. I think you have to be in the same network, and you have a public URL, a public IP address to share, I guess. Need a vid tutorial about WordPress API. I'm gonna implement the WordPress API in some plugins. I'm gonna build some plugins relying on WordPress REST API. It's gonna be amazing. What do you think about static file CMS like Jekyll? Never tried it. I don't know what to say. Sorry. Okay. We are 2 hours of live streaming, so I think it's time for me to go and cook some lunch and get some lunch and take a shower because I'm sweating so much. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Again, if you want the support me page, Patreon, or subscribe to Ritual Music if you want to get 50% off and get some sweet music that you can use whatever you want. And this t-shirt is from Addict Coders. Okay, I'm gonna put some links in the description of the video. I don't remember. I don't have any tutorial on WP CLI. I'm gonna do them, but WP CLI is pretty easy. Just read the documentation. It's just like so easy. I don't think you need any tutorial, but if you need, let me know and I'm gonna do some tutorials for you. Thank you so much, guys, and until the next live streaming or until the next lesson, as usual, always happy coding. Have fun in code. Like, don't get stressed, don't get frustrated, have so much fun. Bye, guys. And stop.